are live. Welcome to I Got Next, people. We got AG. I don't know what AG is doing. He's probably trying to hide from Saul G because he fucking blew it last week. It's a sad day, everybody. You see Saul G. He is in the building. You see his avatar. His avatar is Oscar the Grouch. But unfortunately, he's not wearing his green hair because AG went 0-3 and Saul G went 3-0, allowing Saul G to catch and even surpass in winning percentage AG in the standings, but he caught him in wins, and that's all he had to do to keep from dyeing his hair green. Damn it, AG, what the hell's wrong with you?
What the hell's wrong with Mike Gundy? That's what I want to know.
It really makes no sense. Why you're up 4? What does going for 2 do to the calculus of anything?
I guess they thought they were going to block the extra point. I don't know, man.
Maybe make
it. It makes
6 point.
Yeah, they got to make the extra point.
You block the extra point.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's the only thing. But they should have got the 2-point conversion. It was a bad play anyway.
Yeah, that was a terrible sequence all the way around.
I mean, first of all, can you admit that the comeback was terrible? Yes. It should have never even gotten where it was. I mean, the fact that they still came back and won by 4 was a mockery of itself. Yeah, and then it's like now you find out Lincoln Riley is gone. It's like, oh, that's why his play calling was so god awful in that game.
Yeah, he's getting out of there.
Speaking of which, Lincoln Riley is going to have an opportunity. I'm assuming he's coaching tomorrow.
I don't know.
I don't know if he is or not. But Cal and USC have a makeup game that is scheduled for Saturday, for tomorrow. And so I have dubbed that, because it's in our list of picks, I have dubbed that the inaugural Lincoln Riley Invitational, because it's not a conference championship game. Both of those teams suck. They're both 4-7, Cal and USC, but they are playing while the rest of the world is watching good teams play for conference championships. USC and Cal are playing for who gets to have 5 wins. And I don't know, does that make them bowl eligible at 5-7? That would be crazy.
No,
you need 6. I want to say
6.
Don't you have to win 6 now? Yeah.
6,
okay.
Yeah.
You used to have to just win 5, but everybody plays like 17 games now. So
before we get into our picks, though, I got a double or nothing proposition for Soul.
Let's go. Let's keep it lively.
Oh Lord.
Here we go.
All right, so the original bet was you got to come on the show live with a hair color of our choice. We obviously chose green, like your avatar. And, I lost that. I squandered that opportunity. But we could do double or nothing. You got to come on.
That wasn't even a bet. That was just Saul saying, I'm so confident that I'm going to
Yeah, it wasn't even a bet. There was nothing against me.
I'm willing to put everything on the line for nothing in return. So I got to give Saul G his credit. He really put it out there, and he did it. He got it done.
Got to give him the respect, because he won too. You know what I mean? He did what he said he would do.
That's right.
All right, so
I didn't pull a Dennis Schroeder. I bet on myself and won.
There you go.
God.
Yeah, go check out I Got Next. That's where we talk about that.
Schroeder.
But so I talked to my boss. I'm in the service industry. He said, absolutely not. I cannot wager my hair. So anything that's not on my physical appearance, you can is free game, and you can set your terms. But my terms would be, you got to do 2 episodes. I don't care when. They don't have to be back to back or anything. And we get to choose a different color for the second episode too. It could be in a couple months. It doesn't have to be anytime soon. But if I beat you tomorrow in these picks, that's my terms, and you can come up with your terms if you want.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. Only because we're picking straight up, I do not feel as much confidence. I need my spread sometimes to analyze and look through these games. The fact that there are a couple of double-digit favorites tomorrow, and some of the spreads are kind of large. It throws me off sometimes, because I'm just like, oh, obviously the 10-point person should win, but I'm just like, they might lose, and then I end up doing worse when it's straight up versus when I have a spread.
That's crazy.
I will think about it. I'll let you know by the end of the show. But yeah, I'll let you know.
All right. So
he's not trying to wager that hair again. I get it.
Saul's gonna be pondering while we're going through the picks. So let's get right to it. So we have a slate of 10 conference championships, and then the one inaugural Lincoln Riley Invitational. Let's get right to it. first up, we got later on tonight, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, Western Kentucky against Texas San Antonio. It looks like it's pretty unanimous, except for one Saul G, who picked Western Kentucky. So there's our first line of demarcation right there. It looks like y'all picked damn near the opposite on every game. So this is going to be really interesting how this bet's going to go down. So anybody want to give their take on why they chose UTSA, or in Saul's case, Western Kentucky? He chose the favorite.
I've been
yeah,
rocking
I
with
took
UTSA.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sol. No, you got it. Go ahead. You're the odd man out here.
Oh, well, I'll just say I went with Western Kentucky because they've been playing 6 straight covers in a row. I think they've won 6 games in a row. They've been playing the best ball. They've got one of the top passing offenses. And after the effort last week by UTSA versus North Texas, I think that plan for that undefeated streak that they were trying to do and win a conference championship would have been a great. I don't more. They will go to a bowl game, but they don't really have anything to play for except for being maybe 12-1 instead of that perfect 13-0 season. So I just think that Western Kentucky's playing some of the best offensive and defensive ball in that conference right now. So that's why I went with them.
All right, so a little bit of a letdown.
I would push back and say, because UTSA is coming off that big loss, they don't have the pressure of an undefeated season anymore. I think they still want to win their conference with the conference championship game. You know what I mean? So I think that now there's some pressure off. They lost that game. They kind of came out flat. It was a dud game for them. So I think they still want to win the conference championship now that they can't have that undefeated season they were looking for. So I think they're going to come out firing for that. But yeah, we'll see.
All right, so next up, we got Saul G's favorite team, the Oregon Ducks. I don't know why the hell he picked them to win, because he knows what that means, because I picked them to win too, which means they're probably going to get their ass handed to them by Utah. AG, you went opposite Saul G on this one too. So we got our, just so everybody knows, our other guys up on the screen. So on the far left, we got Tyler, is it Hohenschelt? I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Yeah. T-Ho, he's all the way on the left. That's me, second from the left. You see Saul G's avatar there, and so that's how we went through these picks. AG is second from the right, and then all the way to the right is Ant Bailey, and he has picked Ant Bailey has picked Utah in this game as well, along with AG. The rest of us picked Oregon. Saul G, why are you going with the Ducks when you have hated on them all season?
Well, it's just in this game, just back to back, trying to beat the team twice in the same year. I'm gonna go with the ESPN cliche, trying to beat the team twice normally doesn't happen. This is what Oregon does. This reminds me of the year where we went to the college football playoff, where I think we had only had one loss against Utah that year, and going into the game, we beat the hell out of Utah that year, or something. I think it was Utah that year. And then we ended up going to the college football playoff because they basically said, okay, it was a close game on a neutral field. I mean, it was a close game at Utah, but when we played them on a neutral field, it was like 54-12 or something crazy. Yeah. So I look for Oregon to do the bare minimum, probably get up early, like 28-0, and then probably coast to like a 38-31 win because they're going to let Utah. So if you're betting, definitely take Utah in the second half because that's what I see happening. Oregon up early, Utah comes all the way back, so they can't just, we can't just have a nice, not stressful week. So that's what I see happening.
All right, fair enough. AG, you want to add anything to that? Why you went with Utah instead? Because Saul seems pretty confident that you're muted. Saul seems pretty confident that Oregon is going to just run them out of the stadium in the first half, and that it's only going to be Utah making it respectable at the end.
I agree. It's hard to beat a team twice, especially in what was it, like 3 weeks ago? I think in the first time they played.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Well, you know what I mean. I agree with that. Because obviously you can make adjustments. You can now you know how they're going to play you. The matchups, but I think they just got overmatched like by a lot in that first game. It was bad. You know what I mean? They got blown out, and I see it. I don't see them getting blown out again because they're going to make some adjustments. They're going to come in with a better strategy. But I got Utah winning ultimately. I think it'll be a close game, though.
All right. So next up, we got Baylor and Oklahoma State. So again, Saul G and I are picking the same. We both have Baylor. I love Dave Aranda. I love what he's done with that defense. And I keep been, continuing to look for when Baylor is going to slip up and trip and stumble after they got that big upset win against Oklahoma, and they just haven't done it. They've been playing really consistently, really well. And I think that Oklahoma State has their chance to get into the college football playoff, and I think Baylor, at the very least, comes in and has that let's spoil this for them, but also we get to take hardware home if we win this. And so all the talk is going to be about Oklahoma State and whether or not they're going to make it into the college football playoff if they win this game, and it's all going to be about them and all that hype. And the talk is going to be about, well, what if Alabama and Georgia, both make it in because Alabama beats Georgia this weekend, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have all this stuff. Everybody's going to be pumping up Oklahoma State, and it's all going to be about them and whether or not they are going to be in the playoff. And it's going to be like a foregone conclusion that they're going to win this game. And I think that's all the motivation that Baylor and Dave Aranda need to actually sneak and clip them, because this is a quality team. Baylor is a really, really good team. Play really well defensively, and they've actually started to put some pieces together to where they can actually put numbers on the board too. So that's my take on that game, and I want to hear what you guys think.
I'm just giving Mike Gundy a second chance.
After you talked all that shit about Mike Gundy, now you're coming back. Okay, all right.
Giving him a second chance.
Saul G, I
believe in second chances.
Yeah, Saul G, you picked Baylor as well. So do you echo my sentiments, or you got another take?
Nah, I mean, I always like to say the week after a team almost does something that they're supposed to do, which like cover, and I always say, oh, this team owes me. That's kind of the thought process, kind of in some of my games where I'll pick the same team 2 weeks in a row because I'm like, oh yeah, y'all owe me because y'all know y'all were supposed to cover last week. So I actually like
does that work usually?
AG's theory on this. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I actually like AG's theory on this one. So I'm not gonna switch my pick, but I just went with Baylor, man. I think Baylor is silently quietly having one of the best seasons that they've had since old RG3 was there. So,
right.
But this time they actually can play a little defense, you know what I mean? Like they're not just blowing people out. They show they can blow you out. I think that quarterback, even though he wasn't they still looked efficient on offense in that last game. But once again, like I said, I called Texas Tech last week because I just felt like Baylor was gonna, not do as win the game as stressful as possible. Once again, they took the Oregon route because they're saving everything for this game. So I'm gonna give two sides of the take. So I can see Baylor, like I said, winning the game straight up, even though I think they're a 6-point underdog because they didn't show anything against Texas Tech, which is a really, really dumb statement because you have 11 games of game footage. So saying that you're saving all your great plays for the championship is a dumb thing to me. I'm like, this ain't high school. I hate when people say that, they want to save all their good plays for next week. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't plan on being in the Big 12 championship maybe at the beginning of the year. You said, okay, well, we're just going to run basic stuff all year, but if we get to the Big 12 championship, we're going to throw out all the stops. It's a dumb cliche that I hate that people use, but yeah. So I'm gonna stay with my Baylor pick, but I do believe that it's gonna be one I'm gonna miss.
Okay, all right. So let's move on to the early games tomorrow, because that's one of the early games tomorrow, and we'll continue with those. So we got Kent State and Northern Illinois. I'm looking at this slate, and like you and AG have not picked a game the same yet. So this bet is going to be epic. We are already at 6 games where you and AG have picked the opposite in every one of them. I don't want to dig too deep into this Kent State Northern Illinois game because let's be honest, I don't think any of us has put a whole bunch of film study in on either of these teams. I went with Northern Illinois just because it's more of like a historical thing. I've been watching. I had a friend who's from up around that way, and he was a big fan, and so I kind of paid a little bit of attention to just like how they do, but I haven't seen a lick of film on them. So I went with Northern Illinois in this game. I picked the underdog, and Saul G and AG picked. They split it. So you got Saul G going with Kent State. and AG go with Northern Illinois. Then we got the Utah State San Diego State game. Again,
hold on. I had a take on that.
Oh, you have a take on that game? Damn. All right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a take, and once again, I'm gonna prove myself to be wrong. But I think even though I picked Kent State, I do believe that Northern Illinois is gonna win. The game only because it's this thing where if I ever pick against a black coach, they always cover. So because Northern Illinois has a black coach, I'm looking to lose that game. So once again, I'm already counting my losses right now. So that's gonna be another loss.
Okay,
but I'm taking the L for the black man. I'm taking the L for the black man, so I'm cool with that.
I respect it. Somebody's got to do it.
You reminded me of this. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead, Chad.
I was just saying he reminded me of this old Onion article where they had. For those of you who don't know, the Onion is a parody site, but anyway, they had this whole article where it was when Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy were coaching against each other in the Super Bowl in like 08 or whenever that was, 07, 06, something like that. And Tony Dungy was the first black coach to ever win the Super Bowl. And the whole article was like shitting on Lovie Smith for being the first black coach to ever lose the Super Bowl and how disappointed Tony Dungy was in him and all this other stuff. And like, he's like, I can't believe he did that. You know, like that was such a disgrace. You know, he set us back like decades because he couldn't get it done and all this stuff. And it's like, and he's actually the winning coach who's talking shit like that. It was pretty
No, I picked NIU just because they're coming in as the dogs with the better record. So I feel like they're going to come with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, that's kind of
what I chose.
That's kind of the way I went with it too. All right, so Utah State, San Diego State. Hopefully nobody has any hot takes on this one. I like Utah State's ability to put up numbers. So that's why I went with that. And again, I kind of like these little spoiler roll type of games where you have the team that is like everybody's only talking about one team. You know, San Diego State comes into this 11-1. They're nationally ranked, all that good stuff. I actually like Utah State to get it done there. And I'm probably going to regret my pick in the other game, which is, Louisiana Lafayette. I refuse to call them Louisiana. USL, as we know them down here in Louisiana, because that's what they always were, the University of Southwestern Louisiana. But anyway, they come in at 11-1, but they just lost their coach, Billy Napier, to Florida. And so while I have them picked here, I think I'm going to do a Saul G here. I think I'm going to regret that pick, because I think that they are going to come in with a little bit of a diminished swagger, so to speak, because Billy Napier is a really good coach, really good offensive coach, especially. And I just wonder about how they're going to be able to weather that bad news that they got this week, that they're losing their coach. And I think that Appalachian State, they've got a history. They've got a pretty proud tradition over there. I think they come in and they probably knock them off. But I actually picked ULL to win that game because, again, I go with the underdog in almost all of these games. Whoops, wrong graphic. Anybody got any takes on those, or y'all want to get into the hot stuff?
I'm good. Yeah, let's get it.
So here we go. The big one. As you can see, so we've had all the way to the left, we've had Tyler's picks. He said he refuses to pick Georgia to win in a game because it's bad juju. So he picked the over. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say picking the over when it's almost 50 points, when you've got a team like Georgia who hasn't, what have they allowed, like 15 points once all year or something like that? That doesn't bode well, I don't think, for Georgia actually pulling off this victory. And Saul has been talking about this all year, that Georgia is going to have a slip up. I think that here's what I think is going to happen. I think Georgia's going to win the national championship, and it's going to be either because they lose this game to Alabama, and then that's their wake up loss, their wake up call loss, and then they're going to go and run roughshod. Or if they beat Alabama here, nobody else in the country can beat them, because that's the only team I see left on the slate that can actually beat them. Michigan ain't beating them. Ohio State ain't beating them. Well, no, Ohio Cincinnati ain't gonna be there. Cincinnati sure as hell ain't beating. Like none
Oklahoma
of these other schools. Oklahoma State ain't beating them.
Wait. You said Cincinnati? Yeah. Wait. Cincinnati won't beat Georgia?
Correct. You think
I
Cincinnati
think
would
that's a
beat
bad
Georgia?
take. Oh
Okay.
God, yes, and I'll explain to you why.
Okay.
I'm gonna
All
go ahead and
right.
give you my Georgia take.
Well,
I'm not a Georgia hater, but go ahead.
All right. I was just going to give. So this is my tinfoil Koofy moment here. So I'm going to put it on. I'm going to go ahead and throw this bad boy on right now. All right. So I think that there's no way in hell Georgia wins this game, and that is because Greg Sankey wants to have two SEC teams in the college football playoff, and that's the way to make it happen. And he has forever had Nick Saban, or Nick Saban has had him in his back pocket the entire time that he has been the SEC commissioner. So that's my take. I think Georgia, unfortunately, is going to come up on the short end of that stick. I never count Saban and the Saban Sankey conglomerate out of any situation like this. Saul G, go ahead. Give me your take. Why Cincinnati can
Okay,
beat
so
Georgia?
this is my. Okay, well, I'm not going to even go on that. I'm just going to go and tell you why Georgia's not going to win this game. Because don't get me wrong, Georgia's offense is good. Okay, but the other problem is when we start looking at this. I'm sorry, the defense is extremely good.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at this Georgia offense, or even when you look at the Georgia defense, right? I don't necessarily know if this defense is as. I know historically it looks really, really good. But can we please review the tape on Georgia and please tell me what offense or what team that had a good quarterback that they played?
That's
Bo
really
Nix,
challenged them. Yeah.
remember, probably, Bo Nix was the one that pretty much played Georgia the tightest all year. And I'm like, Bo Nix is average on a good day. You know what I mean? So if you go back, I'm talking about Georgia.
He's a playmaker, though. I mean, I'll give him.
Florida with a
He's not that
quarterback who
bad.
only could run 3 plays. On the SEC East, this is the problem that I have with Georgia every year. If Florida and Tennessee can't really hype up Georgia because you're doing what you're supposed to do because nobody on that side is any good. That's the reason why if the SEC is smart, even though they're not going to do it, they'll move Alabama and Auburn into the East when they bring Oklahoma and Texas in. Then Georgia can really say they're the best team every single year because Georgia hasn't played nobody. So my bottom line is if you can stop the run, which Cincinnati's defense has done all year long, and you got a quarterback that's just not trash,
to throw the
that's
ball.
even might sniff the NFL. Come on now, it's like you got to think about like Cincinnati has an All-American at every level of that defense. And I think if Georgia loses this game and they get matched up with Cincinnati, I'm saying a double-digit win because Big 12.
All right. So AG, you want to give your take on this Alabama Georgia SEC championship game?
I'm with kind of what both of you guys said. Soul's been saying it all year, like you said, Chad. They're bound for a slip up. So like Soul said earlier, they owe us one by now. It's the last week before the playoff. So I got Bama winning. I think Bama wants to Saban. We've been talking about it on I Got Next all year. How Saban's on his way out. It seems like, right? I think he wants to at least. I don't think he's going out this year, but he wants to get a couple more playoff, appearances. He's going to come out firing, ready to go. And like we said, Georgia's bound to slip up. They owe us a slip up at this point. So I think it comes tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think they knowing that they have a mulligan is probably their worst enemy, honestly, as well in that. So let's get into this Houston-Cincinnati matchup because Ant actually picked he picked Georgia to win the SEC championship, and then he picked Houston to beat Cincinnati. So he holds Georgia in much higher esteem than Saul does, and definitely holds Cincinnati in much lower esteem. And I kind of agree that I think Cincinnati is one of those. Cincinnati, it's funny that this is happening this year because there have been all these other examples, whether it was Boise State back in the day or UCF or even South Florida back in like 2007, where you had these non-Power 5 schools that pushed and demonstrated that maybe they should get a shot. because they're undefeated or they're playing really well or whatever at any point in the season. And there's always been this dismissive sort of argument, like, no, they haven't played anybody. We're not even going to consider them. And my contention has always been, if somebody's undefeated, until someone beats them, they should be like, imagine in the field of 64 or 68 now in the NCAA tournament. If you had a team go undefeated, win their conference and everything, and the selection committee was like, nah, we don't think you played a tough enough schedule. We're going to let a 17-14 Syracuse in instead, just because they play in a tougher conference. Like, get the hell out of here. That's ridiculous. So I've always said, like, let's make the field big enough that no undefeated team is going to be left out of it, because you should be able to, when you go into, practice, your first fall practices in like August, you should be able to tell your players, hey, if we win every game, we're coming home with the hardware. Like, how can you win every game and people just be like, hey, congratulations on winning all your games. We don't think you played enough tough teams, so you don't even get to play with us. Like, that's ridiculous. So Cincinnati is actually finally one of the teams that they might actually be capable of pulling this thing off, for two reasons. Number one, like what Saul said, I'm not sure about how strong this Georgia team actually is, but also look at the rest of the field. The rest of the field is rife with chinks in the armor. There's tons of teams out there who have major flaws on one side of the ball or the other that can be exploited. Or in like the case of Michigan, they have this way of like somehow fucking it up at some point or another under Harbaugh. So just like what Oregon always has done. So that's my take on that. Like, why I think Cincinnati belongs in the playoff. I think they're probably pissed off and upset that people are still kind of doubting them, and they want to earn their keep as one of the top couple of seeds in this thing. They might even end up with the number one seed if Georgia loses.
I feel you. Yeah, I'm going against shout out to my boy Billy. So one of my homies from college, he told me to hammer Houston money line on this one.
I don't know
if the odds look good, I might do it just to hedge my pick here. But I'm going Cincy for these. So sorry, Billy, but I'm going Cincy on these picks at least.
So I don't know if you want to add anything else, Saul G, or if we can move on to Pittsburgh and Wake Forest, but that's my take on Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, I ain't got that.
Yeah. So all right. So then let's go on to this one. So another
Chad,
one,
I got Wake Forest. You did that one backwards. I got Wake.
Oh, you had Wake in that one?
Yeah, just so you know. Oh, good. But
yeah,
I got Wake.
Yeah.
Right,
no, I had Wake too.
What?
Yeah, I had Wake too.
Chad got tired halfway through this one.
Yeah, it was late last night. My bad, y'all. All right, I'll have to fix that. It won't be fixed on this episode. Obviously, I can't go back and change the video, but I will make the graphics right so that we can go through it next week to do the winners and losers. All right, so Saul and AG both picked Wake Forest. All right, so did Ant. I don't know how. I don't know. Give me Kenny Pickett. I'm going with the Heisman Trophy candidate.
I'm with you on that. I get you.
In that one. And plus, Wake Forest defense is trash. Like, I have not seen anybody play such incredibly awful defense in a long time. Like, they've just had such enormous numbers hung on them. It's insane. So that's my take on that one. I don't care what y'all think about why Wake Forest is going to win. So let's go on to this next one. It is unanimous, which means, yep, Jim Harbaugh is probably going to screw this up and lose to Iowa. They're a 10.5-point favorite in that conference championship game, and we are all picking Michigan. I do actually think like this is the best team that Harbaugh has fielded since he's been the coach there. So I tend to think that seeing that college football playoff for the first time in their sights is actually going to be all the motivation that they need. I was like one of those sticky, ugly win sort of teams that just like finds a way to like screw everything up for somebody like Michigan or Ohio State or whoever who gets who gets their head big, gets their sights set on something bigger and trips them up.
I just don't think Iowa could keep up with them. You know what I mean? I think Michigan's going to come out firing. Like you said, though, there's always a chance with Iowa that it's an ugly defensive game that they end up winning with a field goal at the end or it goes to overtime.
And Michigan turns the ball over a couple of times or something like that.
No, I agree. Happen. There's a chance for that, but we're all going Michigan for a reason. Iowa's not. They don't have that much firepower. As long as Michigan comes out firing, it'll be good.
Yeah, I would have took Iowa if I would have took the spread. Because I think that once again, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan looks like Georgia to me. They got a pretty good defense, and they like to run the ball a lot. I think Iowa's pretty tough against the run. So once again, that quarterback from Michigan is going to have to do a Stetson Bennett and prove he can win a game. So I don't know why nobody hasn't made him go out there and win a game yet, but I think Iowa might have the front seven to do it. We'll see, but just for the record, if we were doing spreads, I would have went Iowa, but it's just a win. I think somehow Harbaugh doesn't blow it somehow. But I want Iowa to win just because I want chaos.
Yeah, I love chaos. Chaos is until we have a full at least 16-team playoff where like the debate at that point would be over like some trash team that really has no chance of winning the national championship, whether or not they get in. Because like if you think about it, like the basketball tournament, the arguments are always about like, oh, this non-Power 5 conference team that didn't win their conference should be in there instead of this eighth best team in the ACC or whatever kind of thing. And Dick Vitale does this little thing where he can't decide if he wants to be like coddling his homies like Roy Williams or whoever, somebody from one of these big schools, or if he wants to be fighting for the little guy. But there's never been one of those teams where everybody's like, there's no way that team deserves to be in the tournament, and then that team goes on and wins the national championship. So like the arguments at that point are about like who gets to say, hey, we made it into the tournament, and then they're just kind of an afterthought because they never have a chance of really winning it. I think that's better for the sport to have the field wide enough that teams that don't have any chance of winning it are actually allowed in. Because if you're leading, I kind of take this to like trimming a brisket. If I'm trimming the brisket so, if I'm cutting so much off that I'm like cutting meat out and I'm throwing meat away, like that ain't right. You got to leave a little bit of that fat on there, because that's how you make sure that you're not cutting and throwing away meat. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So I don't like that they've left the Central Floridas and the Boise States out of the tournament in football, because they've also left some other teams that were like second best in their conference out of the thing, and had them go. And then they're kind of
Soul hit the mute.
Yeah, they're kind of hypocrites about the thing to begin with, because if you go back, and this is going to sound like I'm salty, whatever, say what you want to say about it. But when LSU went undefeated in 2011 and beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and Alabama was the Western Division runner-up, they didn't even go to the conference championship and lose the conference championship. They were the runner-up in their own division. And then Oklahoma State wins their conference with Brandon Weeden and Justin Blackman and all them. They don't even get a sniff. And Alabama gets another crack. Like, that's bullshit. And then you're going to leave some of these other schools out that go undefeated. No, like, expand the field. And if you had a 16-team field and then Alabama works their way through that field and gets to the championship, then they earned it. But instead, what they got to do was they sat out the conference championship game and just got to watch while LSU had to go beat Georgia in Atlanta. Anyway, it's a messed up system, and the sooner we get to a more equitable system, the better. And I think, to Saul G's point, chaos is the way that happens. So yes, I'm rooting for Iowa to beat Michigan, even though I picked Michigan to win this game, because my heart is one thing, my head and my logic is another thing, and I think it's good for football for Michigan to win the whole thing, or good for the powers that be, I should say, not good for football. Finally, let's go to the first annual Lincoln Riley Invitational. USC and Cal are playing a makeup game because of the I don't know, they had some COVID enough people got shut down that they had to postpone this game. So they're playing this game 2 4-7 teams. When the stage is filled with teams competing for conference championships, these two trash teams are going to go head to head. And so Lincoln Riley is going to pick up the pieces Steve Sarkisian left him, or not Sarkisian. That's at Texas. Who's the guy at USC that got fired? I don't remember. Anyway, point is Lincoln Riley is going to go and have a chance to get his career off to a smashing start in Southern Cal. And Saul G is the only one who picked against him. So, Saul G, you want to explain why you picked Cal to beat USC in this game? I take that as a no. I don't know. Saul might be he's out and about. He may be in a rough spot. So, AG, it looks like you went with USC as well. I did too. What's your take on this terrible game? Do you think it should even be played? You're muted.
My bad. I was on mute. I don't know, man. I just picked the team.
Yeah.
This wasn't the I got through all the conference championships, and then I got to the end of the list, and there was this dud on the schedule, and I was like, I'll go Southern Cal. They got Lincoln Riley coming in. You know, guys that are fighting for that might be fighting for a spot next year. They want to come perform well. Show Lincoln Riley what they got. Camaraderie, stuff like that. Maybe they could.
Right.
Maybe they're going to come out, with a little bit of motivation to play well for that reason. They're getting a new coach who has been, successful where he's been at.
Yeah.
So you might be a little motivated, excited about that coming in.
Certainly not going to have any time to install a system in a week.
Yeah.
So
right.
So you're not going to get the full benefits of your new coach, but
maybe
a little pep in your step. Yeah.
It's just a change to the environment, you know what I mean? So I think they're going to come out fresh. It's probably a fresh feeling now still, and I think they'll win the game.
Yeah, I'll just throw my little quick Cal take real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chase,
yeah, good.
Chase Garbers, the quarterback from Cal, is pretty decent. I've seen him play against Oregon a lot. He played Oregon pretty tough. He's not a bad quarterback, but I just feel like USC has nothing to play for. Neither does Cal, but at least their coach is still there, Justin Wilcox. So I feel like they'll win the Lincoln Riley Invitational.
Fair enough. All right, so one last time, let's go through the final standings for this past year's college picks contest. AG was at the top of this list for the entire season until he went 0-3 and let Saul G go 3-0 to run him down from behind. And so there you have our man, Saul G, Oscar the Grouch himself, finishes in first place with a 23-14-2 record. Those two pushes, Saul, they really helped you out. They got you the winning percentage victory at the very least. And I'm terrible. I was finished at 15-24, so we don't even want to talk about that. AG is facing the other way. I think he's ashamed. I don't know what's going on, but is he? I thought you were dying. I thought you were dyeing your hair or something.
So what we got?
Yeah, what's the bet? It's time to put up or shut up. Y'all got to do it. I'm not involved in this. I'm just here to watch.
I will say that I'm not gonna lie. I have zero confidence in these picks this weekend. I have zero confidence. So if you're watching this show and put it out there, some of my personal bets have been going lately. I am a what they say is a sinking ship. So the Titanic has hit the iceberg. So I think I peaked last week. So it wouldn't be surprising if all my picks lose. So I have zero confidence. You want to
talk about Titanic hitting the fucking iceberg, man.
I'm saying I have zero confidence in anything. I don't even I'm trying to think what's the most obvious win on whatever the most obvious win on the board. I feel like Cincinnati will lose to Houston just because I took Cincinnati.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's do this then. Let's put it on the Georgia. Oh no, y'all picked the same. Let's pick one game that y'all picked the opposite. Western Kentucky UTSA, Oregon Utah. Let's do Oregon Utah. That's a great one because then Saul G has everything on the line because Oregon is his team. I think that's the one that we got to go with. So if Oregon loses, Saul G, what are you going to do? And if Oregon wins, AG or Saul, what do you want AG to do? It can't be anything in AG's physical appearance, though, as we have established.
Yeah, boss shot that down. I would have been down. I would have waited.
Hey,
I was gonna say we can make him wear a dress, but I'm not. We're not trying to do that.
Nah, I'm
This
never
is
for
men-
that.
this is men of order, not men of disorder. So we're not gonna do anything like that.
Wrong platform for that bullshit, Chad.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not for that either. I would say okay. Since I can't do anything, well, I can't do his physical appearance for work, but I can do it maybe for the show. So
Okay.
I mean, because that is right, you can do it for the show, right?
Yeah, I can do whatever as long as it's not something that lasts.
Permanent.
That I
Yeah,
gotta work
yeah. No, so that's what I want. So if I'm wagering my hair, I want him to come on the show with green face paint and if he can do it, a yellow or a golden O in the center of his head, like Vision.
Okay.
So that's what I want. So I want the Incredible Hulk green face paint with a yellow O in the center.
Okay, I can do that. Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Gonna be fun.
And then, if I lose,
for your side,
go ahead.
For your side, I forgot that you never put anything on my head last time. You know what I mean? It was only you, so it doesn't even have to be a double or nothing. If Oregon loses, you just come on air with the green hair once. Because I feel like that's fair. Because there was no bet last time. It was just you throwing it out. And you won. So I'll reward you.
Yeah, I'm still fine with that. Yeah, I'm still fine with that. I will dye the hair Oscar the Grouch green and come on the show. I'll even put do the Dennis Schroeder yellow little patch in the front just because Oregon probably might blow it for me. But yeah, I can do that. That is not a problem. Doesn't affect my job. And yeah, I'll be perfectly fine.
All right, there you go. There you have it. So Oregon, Utah is the bet. If Utah wins,
that game's tonight too, right?
No, hang on.
No, it is tonight. Yeah, it's Friday. Oh crap, we'll know that before the game's tomorrow. Yeah, it's tonight.
Oh yeah, shoot. Oh, it is tonight. Yeah, 7:00 on ABC. Oh damn. All right, we got a good game to watch tonight. All right, let's go.
I don't know. We might need to do a live on that one, like in fourth quarter. Let's go live.
Hey, look, we're also gonna do this for the bowl games too. So get ready for that. So start getting your analysis. Start sharpening your pencil. Get your spreadsheet out and everything, and start getting ready for that because it's gonna be we're gonna go heavy on the bowl games.
So if it's a close game, fourth quarter, bro, I'm down. Let's go live. If I'm cut off, if I'm cut from work by then, I'm down.
All right.
Yeah, I'll go live in a close fourth quarter. Yeah, I'll definitely go live.
Yeah,
so we get those live, and I will put it this way: I will finally be on camera tonight because I've just been. Yeah, I've been moving ever since I got back from Africa. So,
my son's got a basketball game, but if it's done in time and we could do I think probably by after halftime I should be good to go where I can come on so what I'll do is I'll just mediate you two and it'll just be a live reaction show. We'll just watch you guys watch the game and talk shit. We'll do it like in the fourth quarter or something like that. Yeah. So it's just 20 minutes or so of very, very intense gripping.
So let's if it's within two scores, we'll do the fourth quarter.
Yeah, okay.
I said if it's within two scores, yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel you. All right, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Let's do it.
All right, so you heard it. We're gonna try to go live tonight. So watch that Oregon Utah game. If it's close in the fourth quarter,
hop on here,
and you can watch the simulcast. We'll be watching the live reaction of these two guys to see who we may even get them to start making the preparations on air for whatever their losing end of the bet is. But until then, we appreciate everyone tuning in, and y'all make sure, as always, to bet responsibly. And I don't know, you enjoy your weekend, enjoy the games, and catch us back next time. It's Men of Order. I got next. Peace.